Well, hello and welcome to a new video where we are going to take a look at the performance of the NVIDIA Quadro RTX A1000 graphics card in Helldivers 2. And we're playing this at 1080p with the ultra quality upscaling. And we're playing this with a mixture to basically mostly medium to high settings. And this is usually the settings which have the least performance impact while still having the game looking very nicely. And yeah, so far we're in a very crowded area here, and obviously a lot is going on. And as you can see, this one here is my A1000 graphics card inside the DELL Precision 5470, which means that this has a 35 watt power limit and is accompanied by 32 gigabytes of dual channel memory as well as an i7-12800H CPU. So obviously we should have no problem with a CPU bottleneck here. And yeah, I mean, we're at the around 30 FPS mark, and I really would have hoped for a bit more FPS. Obviously, there's a lot going on, and this is a huge map and everything, but this really looks to be around the NVIDIA Quadro T2000 performance in the DELL Precision 5540, which I had here a few months ago, and tested in Helldivers 2 as well. And this is a machine from 2019, while this one here obviously is from 2022, and also, on the other hand, obviously it's a 14-inch machine versus a 15.6-inch machine, and the T2000 has a 40 watt power limit as compared to the 35 watt power limit in this one. But yeah, I would really have hoped for more FPS, to be quite frank. Like, obviously it's playable and you don't see a frame time graph here, but it in Helldivers 2 you basically never have any stutters, so it's basically a smooth frame time graph here as well. And it feels obviously playable, but I would have hoped for at least 40 to 50 FPS average here to see at least a little bit of a performance uplift. I mean, the A1000 graphics card is just the professional version of the RTX 3050, which is a significantly cut down version of the 3050 Ti, and this really shows. Like here you can absolutely see the 3050 Ti probably would have had an average of 40 to 50 FPS in this game, at least at the 40 to 50 watt limit. And yeah, so we're not seeing this here. I mean, for a 14-inch machine, and especially compared obviously with a dedicated GPU, isn't bad. On the other hand, the 680M, I wouldn't really have deemed that one playable, I mean, at any setting, so that is great. And I think even with a 890M, with an 890M you can now definitely play Helldivers 2, but I don't know if you could actually play it at the same settings here with the same graphics, with the same performance, so don't know about that. But either way, it's not world faster than the new integrated GPUs are, so I can definitely recommend you going for a dedicated GPU if you want to actually play on your laptop, because you have dedicated VRAM, and some games like, for example, Hogwarts Legacy didn't even start for me with the 680M, even though it was probably capable of handling them, but it just told me that it wouldn't have enough VRAM to run the game. So yeah, that could be potential problems which you simply don't have with a dedicated GPU. And yeah, so far I'm fairly impressed. I mean, we have like 55 watts in total usage of the system, with 20 watts on the CPU and 35 watts on the GPU, and no throttling whatsoever, which is absolutely great to see. I mean, only 70 degrees on the CPU and probably around something like that on the GPU as well. So I would hope that it wouldn't throttle now then, but knowing my Dell XPS and Precision laptops, there definitely is a lot of potential for throttling, even at low degrees. But yeah, this one, I mean, obviously it looks very much... we're dropping even into the 20s now, so it's gonna be a very cineastic experience now. Even in the 90s, 18s. Okay, and yeah, we're seeing a little bit of a power dip here as well, power voltage, but yeah, generally around the 30 FPS mark. So, Yeah, I wouldn't really say that, at least at this difficulty setting with these many enemies around you with the 24 FPS, it's a lot of fun to play here. But it's definitely still playable. So if you want to play on a small 14-inch laptop like the DELL Precision and want to play something like Helldivers 2, you absolutely can. But yeah, with the even dropping below the 20s here, that's absolutely less than optimal. And yeah, I wouldn't do this if I didn't have to and test it here. But yeah, so far I would judge it as playable and even as enjoyable for most of the time, but yeah, you can definitely see that it will drop into areas where it becomes very rough to play.